In general, there are two types of people, the haves and the have-nots, the big guys and the little guys. And we are going to look at both of those today. The first thing I want to look at is the little guys. What's happening to the small business? What's happening to the individuals as we see inflation rocketing higher? The second thing is oil. What's happening in Europe? What's happening in Qatar? And so much more. We're going to look, of course, at what's been happening to the price. And the third thing is the big guys. What are individuals that are making more money than ever before spending their money on? Well, I'm going to show you what a few are doing in this, but you got to stay to the end. Let's begin. Let's start right here. The most small businesses since 1974 are raising prices due to inflation. I had been talking about this in 2020, saying that if the input costs are rising, that businesses would raise their prices on the customers. Doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. I had many negative comments surrounding that. And of course, that has happened multiple times. I'm not sure why people would think that this wouldn't happen, but we are in that realm today. You look at this, the NFIB Small Business Optimism Index slipped again. It's an 11-month low. Why? As the prices are going up, they're increasing that on the customer side. The customer may not buy as much. Depends on the product, of course, if it's a necessity or it's a, kind of a want to have. You look at this, a net 61% of small businesses increased prices at the beginning of the new year, highest since 1974. More small business owners started the new year raising prices in an attempt to pass on the higher inventory, supplies, and labor costs. In addition to the inflation issues, owners are still raising compensation at record high rates to attract qualified employees to their open positions. So you've got this double whammy. You've got individuals that are requesting more than ever. They are saying, I'm worth more than this, so the price has to go higher. And at the same time, they've got their materials and everything else that they need for their business rising. So what does that do? They only have one option. If they're not willing to cut into their profits or can't, because a lot of these businesses are very small margin, they increase the price towards the customer. Customer has to pay the bill. Looking at this year, the small business inflation being the single most important problem, that number has increased, as well as small businesses saying they are increasing their prices. Both of these going up, and of course, it remains to be seen how high this will go. It's continuously going up higher for both of these. The worst is yet to come for food price rises. This comes from Tesco. And of course, when you see this coming from an individual like this, you know that people should be aware. It's the chairman of Britain's biggest supermarket, and he's warning that. And why is he saying this? Because he's seeing that they're raising prices. Customers aren't too happy about it, but he's making it very clear. We are impacted by rising energy prices. Our supplies are impacted by rising energy prices. So the likelihood that inflation figure So the likelihood is that inflation figure will rise. And I will show you specifically how it relates to oil prices in a moment. This is not good. You as the individual, what can you do? I'll tell you right now. I won't wait to the end of the episode, okay? You've got to get a handle on your food, your energy. Do your best. Very simple. You can grow a garden. You can have some sort of growth even indoors, okay? It's not going to make a huge change. What else can you do? You can have that storable food. What does that mean? Astronaut food? I don't want any of that. No thanks, buddy. No, you can get rice and beans and lentils and pasta and the things that people typically would have done so, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Just keep some extra there just in case. Those type of things can really make a big difference. U.S. trade gap swells to a record in 2021 on surge on imports. Shortfall with China widened last year to $355 billion. Huge. In fact, I want to do an entire video about this. I've got so many videos that I want to do. I'll try my best. But anyway, the point here is that this trade gap is just getting ever larger. It's not a good thing. Of course, When you are in debt to somebody, they make the rules. They control it. Big problems here. Qatar has not yet asked for gas diversions to the EU. Ukraine crisis. The Ukraine crisis is raising concern about gas supplies. We are seeing what's going to happen with Qatar because, of course, if Russia and the Europe are, having a little bit of difficulty, somebody else needs to step up. Is it Qatar? We will see. Now, I want to break it down and go into what's happening with oil and with gas. And specifically, the first thing I want to talk about is European countries depending on Russian gas. My friends in Europe, I know that there are so many watching these videos. Look at this. The share of gas supply from Russia in selected European countries. This is coming from new information. North Macedonia, 100%. But then you go down the list. Finland, 94%. Bulgaria, 77%. Slovakia, 70%. And then you go down. Even Germany and Italy are really reliant on Russian gas. So if there is a disruption, people pay attention because the prices can skyrocket in an instant. They've already gone up considerably. Europe remains a top destination for US LNG for the second month running. Okay, and that connects in with these. I'll show you a series of articles. Wave of US LNG ships headed to Europe sends the freight rates below zero. Can you believe this? It reminds me of what happened when we saw the oil futures prices heading down into the negative. Crazy. Spot charter rate in the Atlantic falls to minus 750 per day. Diversions from Asia means too many vessels in the Atlantic. Supply and demand. Look, this was just recently 273,000. And now it's in the negative. A complete opposite. Huge change. Now, obviously, this is going to fix itself out in the near future. But isn't it crazy to see what has happened here? I mean, the markets have gone wild. The economy's gone wild. Everything is just out of whack. Then we have this. I've shown it before. Continuing on. Oil prices have gone up here. And we look at the RSX, and that is Russia's index. And what happens here? This is supposed to move in conjunction. You would think oil prices, Russia being a major oil, exporter. And look, if they're able to pull this out of the ground, they're able to get it out to different customers and use it domestically as well. It's going to correlate. That hasn't happened recently, partially because of the tensions between them and Ukraine. Not even sure if I'm just got demonetized. Anyway, looking at this, observable crude oil and oil products inventories comparing year over year, 2019 up until the present. All I'm showing you here is that oil inventories are really, really low. That means the prices can remain elevated. If that changes, if OPEC suddenly starts to say, we're going to pump more, okay, that's going to change things. If we see something with Iran and the deal gets through, that could mean also some more oil coming onto the market. So keep an eye on that. Of course, I will do that for you. Stay tuned. Hit that thumbs up. If you hit the thumbs up, you're going to be more likely to see these videos and, of course, get the information that you desire. Alrighty, here we go. Let's look at what's been happening with the markets. We are going to, of course, as I said, show you who's been making the money, but I wanted to look at this first because this is really where it's at for people to understand. And this just compares growth index versus value. And that is from the beginning of this year. And it has been clear, I've shown you before, that growth has not performed as well when you compare it to value. Okay, definitely big difference, big difference, just as the beginning of this year. Because while the markets have kind of been, up and down, chopping around, we have watched certain names doing really well and other names not so good. Okay, you look at Facebook stock, for instance, really getting hammered. Peloton stock, first it's down. It's still down from its it's high that it experienced, then it pops up here and there because rumors. But speaking of Facebook, you've got to know, I hope everybody knows this already, but I'm going to mention it. Facebook market cap falls below $600 billion, which could actually help it dodge new antitrust scrutiny. Interesting, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts about this. Put it in the comments below. I've got some thoughts. You let me know, okay? And then, who's making the big bucks? Big bucks, the big guys, right? I don't know about you. My salary is not $35 million, but if you are David Solomon of Goldman Sachs, or you are Jamie Dimon, yes, that's how you pronounce it, Dimon, out of JP Morgan, you are making $35 million. Unbelievable. I'm surprised they take that big of a salary and not just do the option strategy. And it seems odd to even have a salary that big, considering half of it is just gone, 60% of it. But anyway, they go through all these different things. People are buying cars left, right, and center. They are buying the most expensive bottles of, champagne and all these different things. Not into that, but look at it. The G-Wagon, 160 grand, is just selling like crazy. Looking at all this here, this particular vehicle, $2.5 million. Sure, no problem. They're buying it. Dom Perignon. Okay, going through all of this, you could see, I don't want to cover it too much. Look, this is a place, Chelsea Lounge, okay? People go to this lounge and spend $30,000 in a night. Now, I don't know if they struck it big with Bitcoin, maybe, I guess, but they are making more money than ever before. It shows you, all I'm trying to say is that it shows you some individuals are making more money than ever. The conditions are really, in some ways, a lot like 2000. And who knows where we're going to be in the near future, but I can tell you, historically, very, very unusual. That's for sure. I want to know what you think about this information. Put it down below. Hit that thumbs up to notify others out there that this information is good. That's all you got to do. You don't have to tell your cousin Bobby or your grandma. Just hit the thumbs up button. I do appreciate it very much. Okay? If you haven't seen this video yet, you definitely want to check it out, all right? So just click it and I'll see you over there.